20 minutes to present his case to the judge. I show you a board to the 10-5 last 2 minutes and the last 30 seconds of the presentation. During the last 10 seconds of the speech, I will indicate the remaining time using my 2 hands. The team who has not finished after 20 minutes will be stopped and move onto the period of questions. A period of questions of a maximum duration of 5 minutes. 5 minutes is assigned to the jury at the end of the presentation. I would like to remind to the jury that this is a mandatory to ask at least 1 question during this period. I would like the judges to introduce themselves and then you can begin. I will start the time only when you will begin your presentation.
Hi, my name is Michel Lagonière. I've been a consultant for about 23 years, and good luck.
Hi, my name is Annie Brisson. I'm the Talent Acquisition Director at TELUS.
Marie-Christine Damour, Marketing Director for Consumer Market.
Raphaël Mattoni, Marketing Manager at TELUS.
Sylvie Morin, Professor of Market.
Dring, dring.
The future is calling.
So now it's time to ask yourselves, why not more? So first, let's take a look at your current phone plan and where you want to be in the future. So to start out, you have a relatively good market share as of right now, but what we want to do is, it's a highly competitive industry right now, and you really want to differentiate yourself from your competition because it is such a competitive industry, and to do this, you're going to increase your service accessibility. Also, we have a stable customer increase in terms of how many customers you're acquiring. We want to take it to the next level and increase the growth rate for you. And you will do this by additional customer experience initiatives, which we'll speak about in our presentation. And this brings us to our mandate today, which is to achieve growth in market share and financial profitability. And you'll do this with a $33.5 million budget to ultimately get a 2.8% return on marketing investment. So since we are Evergreen Solutions, my name is Holly, and these are my colleagues, Samantha and Morale, we follow a PINE model. So in the positioning phase, we examine your current situation and we analyze your industry and where you are in relation to your competitors. In the idea phase, we'll present to you a winning strategy in order to give your customers more. In the navigation stage, we'll navigate through this idea and present to you how to implement it. And finally, in the evaluation, we'll really find out why this strategy is the best. And now I'll pass it off to my colleagues.
So beginning with the positioning, we've laid out a positioning model for you today. Firstly, we'll start off with your target market. So who exactly are you catering to? Next, we'll look at your frame of reference. So in what industry do you currently compete in? And then we'd look at your point of difference by just finding out where you can differentiate yourselves from the rest of your competitors in this really, really tight market. And finally, the reason to believe. So what makes TELUS the brand that is way better than all your other competitors?
So to begin with the target market, you've given us different markets and we've segmented them into 3 different sections. So we have the young Yannis from 18 to 34, we have Mother Megans from 35 to 49, and we grouped the 2 older ones into one group called Older Oliver. And what we want to highlight here is that we want you guys to target the young Yanni. Why, you ask? Because young Yanni is the investment that'll have the biggest impact in the future. Also, it is the market with the largest opportunity. So this market especially right now has no major investor in it at the moment. There is no leader. So this is an opportunity for TELUS to be that leading competitor in terms of young Yanni. We also want to highlight here that young Yanni is interested in innovative features, but also user-friendliness. So they want everything to be simple. They don't have time, they're busy, and they want everything to read. As you know by the current saying that we never actually read the terms of use, we always just press accept. So we love things that are driven by humor. So that is a great way to target us. But we also want to highlight that Mother Megan and Older Oliver are not forgotten. You're going to be encouraging Mother Megan because her children are probably 18 to 34 years old. And you're also maintaining Older Oliver because you guys are customer experience based and you want to maintain that great customer service throughout all of your possible markets. So now that we've finished this, I'll pass it back off to Sam to continue on the analysis.
So we can continue on to the frame of reference. So as we mentioned before, you're competing in the Quebecois telecommunications industry. It's increasingly competitive, and there are a variety of service offerings that are available within the sector, but it's also heavily regulated. So this is where you can ask yourself, why not more? And maybe look at integrating some other business practices you already are researching into and combine that with that telecommunications offering that you already have. From here, we can move on to the point of difference. So the point of difference, we've laid you out on between your product offerings. So firstly, are your services in comparison to your competitors generalized or specialized? In this case, it's good to be specialized because then you're able to target all your resources into a generation that is more interested in being targeted personally. So we also measured you based on customer innovation. So what do you do for your customers that's different that no one else does? And for this situation, we've noticed that Rogers and Bell are more stable in their markets. However, they do not focus on customer innovation, and they are less innovative. However, Videoton, as you mentioned to us, is quite innovative with their customer innovations, and so that's an opportunity for you to just knock them out of the park by placing you up here and extremely specialized with customer innovations in the Montreal and Quebec regions. So with this customer innovation, what makes TELUS the brand to believe in? It's because of your innovative perks. You've already mentioned to us of the Smart Start programs that you already have running, which is great for the Mother Megans and the older Olivers. But now it's time to target the young Yannis. So we've also noticed that you've made some strategic investments, specifically in the online medical records and being integrated because, like you always say, the future is friendly, and medical records are a key point in the future and innovations that will be required of the young Yannis generation. So because the future is friendly, we want to be able to support that future generation with this strategy. So from here, with the future-friendly perks that TELUS has to offer, we can move on to our positioning statement. So for young Yannis shopping in the telecommunications industry, TELUS is the innovative company thanks to their future-friendly perks. So we noticed that there's two options laid out to us. We could have gone with the traditional approach and told you to keep bundling your products and make different bundles. However, we want to take an innovative approach. We want to move on to the future.
The last sentence that you said in your case was, why not more? We want to throw this question back to you guys. Why not more? When you're thinking of your current project, we want to think now with application upgrades. We want you to create the most user-friendly, most connectable app for the younger generation. But we also want you to think, why not more? Why not take that medical integration that Samantha was talking about and start implementing this for future use? So we're thinking connecting two markets together in order to make it the biggest possible opportunity possible. So to go more into this, we're going to focus with this strategy mostly on the application. But we want you to think of the medical upgrades for later, for future reference. And Samantha will develop on this also. In terms of the application upgrades, we're thinking of an app which we're going to have three sections. Fun, fait, penser. Fun is going to be an integrated game for your users to have. It'll be something to connect the idea of TELUS with the idea of friendliness, integrating a little fun in the everyday usage of the app. It will also bring in more usage to the app, so people won't just go on for their actual services, they'll go on to play games. And this will allow you to track some data. I'll go more into this afterwards. In the section fait, you're going to go into details about your possible forfaits, and you're going to be able to go deeper in details, have all of the possible requirements, all of the mandatory information that you have to mention. And in Pensée, you're inviting customer feedback. You're inviting customers here to tell you guys what they think, and you'll be able to put this back into action in the future. But let's go deeper into this. The fun is also going to have location marketing adapted to it. So we want you guys to use location marketing in order to be able to promote your services to your clients. So this is going to be in using data that you'll be taking in the app, in the games, and in the app in general. You'll be able to target customers that are in a surrounding area strategically. So for instance, if you guys would promote at a festival, you would be able to tell people around the festival, come to our booth, this is where we are, and come find out the new promotions that we have for students. In the FID, you're going to have bill payments and learning centers for your products. And finally, in Policy, you're going to have feedback, chat support, after-sales service, and source of data collection. So we really want to emphasize the importance of collecting data in order to give back to your customer what they really want to find. Let's go into the 4 Ps now. We want to add additional touches. So for instance, you'd be personalizing your customer service. You'll be innovating your customer service. So by collecting data through the app, you'd be able to send happy birthday messages. I would love that. Receiving a happy birthday morale from my telephone service, it would be so personalized, and it's just a little touch that makes such a difference. You would be able to present a refer a friend program. So this program would be in order to promote your referral service, which we know is already a main strength for TELUS. We just want to take that to the next level, and always think, why not more? So refer a friend would be an option to, by inviting a friend, you and your friend would get 1 month free. And we know that this is effective because Uber used it. Uber was able to get so many customers by simply telling people, refer a friend, get 1 ride free, and so will they. And they recruited so many customers. So we're inviting you to do the same. Finally, you're going to allow your customers to personalize their app. So they'll be able to tailor the app as they like. And it could be simple details such as color, different fonts that they would like, anything that would help them feel more special to your company. And now let's go into the 4 Ps. So in terms of price, obviously the product offering the app would be free for the customer, and it would provide support for them as well as information for new customers coming in. In terms of place, as you mentioned, it'll be targeted for your Quebec and Montreal markets. So you could be using, for instance, Oshiaga in Montreal as a festival, and Le Carnaval d'Hiver in Quebec. So you'd be able to target customers in that way. Also in-store, so using your current locations to use location marketing to tell people about the new promotion, and etc. To go into more detail about the place, so for instance, Oshiaga we think is a perfect festival to use because it has such a huge, the size of the festival is only growing every year, and it's perfect for targeting that demographic because that's exactly where they're going to be the weekend of August 1st to 3rd. And it also, and the way you can market and promote on that location would be, for instance, to create, because it's an arts festival, you guys could invite more artsy promotions, you guys could have maybe even animals if you want to go all out, as is TELUS's nature to have a monkey on their page, or something of that. We're going to do some promotion online and offline. In terms of online, YouTube ads are very efficient. 30-second videos have been proven to be the best way to target customers from 18 to 30. Why? Because we don't have that much time. We don't like to read things through, as with the terms and services I mentioned earlier. And we just like to be we're very, very visual. So we like to feel things quickly and visually. Facebook and your website. So Facebook would be to promote your thing. Facebook is a great way to promote because it has such a great reach. And we're all on it, basically. And website would be simply to update your website. You update your website to put your new promotion and to have this new app as the main picture when you come in. Offline, we're going to be using a virtual reality experience at festivals. So as I said, Oshiaga is a very artsy festival. So this is a great opportunity to use this virtual experience promotion. Virtual experience is all the rage nowadays. It's the up-and-coming way to attract people. So using a little simple virtual experience to show people, put on this eyeglass and look at how the app would be. Look at how simple it is. Look at this. Get them to really understand the feel. Give them an extra sensation to have and refer to. And then in-store promotions, as I mentioned, you would have little cardboards, little papers in the shape of a cell phone with your new application as the advertisement and all the information about this new application on the back of that little page. So there's a lot of creative things that you can do. But how to really go through this and implement it?
So how are we going to navigate through this winning strategy? To begin, the app development is a very important part of the overall navigation. So it would be done from the present to March 2017. So we wanted to give you quite a bit of time to develop the app, and this is a flexible timeline, so if you do find that you finish it earlier or later, then there's some flexibility there. Next, in terms of promotion, it'll be a 6-month timeline, so April to July 2017, and then August, and then onwards. So to move into the app development, this would be the first stage, and as I mentioned, it is quite extensive, depending on how in-depth the app could go, if you have web developers, how long it would take, any kinks that you need to work out. So we did want to give you quite a bit of time to develop this app. So for example, your Learning Center is an incredible service that you offer to your customers, and translating this onto the app will really make it fantastic for consumers. So we as consultants don't know how long that would take, so we leave it to you in this time to translate it onto the app and get everything going. So in terms of the application development, once that is done, then we can start for the promotional services to offer. So in terms of April to July 2017, we've divided this into an online and an offline way of thinking about it. So in terms of online, this will be where you create all of your promotional materials for your Facebook, your website, and YouTube. So in terms of the website, you would want to update all of the graphics on the website to reflect the app, so to have some advertisements for the app. For Facebook, you would want to update your profile picture and cover photo to reflect the app. So new app, just give some information about it, just so that when consumers go to your page, they really see it right away, which is the benefit of the cover photo. And in terms of videos, this would be, for example, some animals featured in YouTube ads. So, for example, you could have a TELUS bird knocking their head against a phone and saying, "It's so much easier with thumbs." Something to have some humor for the younger audience. In terms of offline, this again, we create the promotional materials. So for the festivals, if you are present at festivals at a booth, you would create some promotional materials to have reflecting the app. And then this is the purchase and develop the virtual reality software. So as my colleague mentioned, this would be to give a really visual representation of the app. So it would go on the consumer's eyes, and they'd be able to be walked through the app and how it's sort of developed. And then another sort of creative angle that you could take would be to have, say, the city of Montreal, and you could program in the TELUS animals that are featured in your ads. So that consumers could walk around the streets of Montreal and they would see a parakeet or some cute TELUS animal that they're familiar with that makes them comfortable with the brand. And then also to train the staff in your various locations. You mentioned that you do have 6,000 employees in Quebec. So they would all need to be trained about how to use the app and how to sell it to the customers effectively. Moving on to the third phase of the navigation of the implementation. This would be when you really promote the application's launch. So because it's developed, we give you some time to develop the promotional materials and then finally launch the app. And this is when you would begin the YouTube ads. So the one with the bird that I mentioned, you could use a monkey and have them holding a phone and say, "So easy a monkey could do it." Something cute to incorporate the animals that TELUS already uses and use them with the app. This would also be when you would promote on Facebook as well, and share videos of the events that I'll just mention in the next section here. So this is when you would share videos of the events, say at Oshiega. If you hosted with the virtual reality, you would have someone taking some videos, and then those would be posted on your social medias. And in terms of offline, you'd want to equip the stores with materials, so promotional materials, informational materials that my colleague mentioned before. You want to make sure this is all disseminated to these stores. And finally, it would all culminate in the festival event, where you would have this virtual reality, this really cool aspect of the event, and also promote the app to a lot of the TELUS consumers who will be there, and their friends will also be there to see how great this app is and how innovative TELUS is.
So now that you have an understanding of how the app would work, we can now move on to the medical integration. So this app will act as a baseline for the future services that TELUS will have to offer. So now we can move on into the later phase. Beginning with the later phase, we expect this going from 2018 to 2020. So in this time, we're going to be building TELUS's app currently as TELUS's application for the future. So these 2 years will involve having a medical profile within the app. And then this is just mainly to simplify emergency situations, having a medical profile with records that are synchronized with the services that you're already offering. And this will act as a pull strategy for new business lines. So therefore, you can then take these services and move them on to hospitals. In the future, so we're anticipating 20 and 21 plus, you'll be able to integrate these online medical records within hospitals. So now that all your TELUS customers will have their medical records integrated on their cell phones within the TELUS app, they can then develop this. So this will be an online medical records for the telecommunications contracts that can act as a bundle for your products as well. So now you're integrating two business lines into one in a convenient bundle for hospitals, as well as consumers that you currently have will be able to use this and simplify their day-to-day life in the situation that they're visiting the doctor or the hospitals. So now we can move on to the evaluation of this. So from this, we have a detailed budget for you, but you'll notice the total is $33.5 million, and this is based on the revenues that we've calculated for you, based on a 15% marketing budget of your K-10 Plus sales. So from these 5% of sales, we calculated this budget to anticipate a return within your sales of 2.8%. And so the key performance indicators, so how do we know that this strategy is going to work over the next 3 years? You will have a 2.8% return on sales, an increase in market share of 2% within the next 2 years, and then finally a 45% adoption rate of your application within all your consumers within 3 years.
Bring, bring.
The future is calling.
And now it's time to answer. We've presented a situation for you for an online and offline marketing strategy that will really bring your target market and make it an optimal situation for you. Thank you.
Mind if I ask the first question?
Absolutely.
Looking at the competitors, you realize that you are opposing an app environment versus a media platform, with TV channels and all that. What is your evaluation of the power of attraction of an app environment versus what's out there right now? How did you come to thinking that it may even overtake that or compete against that?
We decided on the application because of the market that you're targeting according to the strategy. So all three of us are a part of that target demographic, and we know that in the future, we're not even thinking of buying cable bundles, etc., because it's all going to be mobile. We're thinking mobile. And so we think the best investment is to invest in that mobile application, because I'm always on my phone, and so are these two.
So you're relying on playing on the forces already there with TELUS.
Exactly. So right now, if you think about it, I spend more time on my phone than I probably do on my computer at this point. I'm just saying a lot because I'm a student, I should be writing papers. However, I spend more time doing what I need to do on my phone, and then everything else whatever I can't do on my phone moves to my laptop. So because of that, TELUS already has an established market within the telecommunications industry, and there is a general shift away from that media, so it presents an opportunity for you to just keep going with the future trends as opposed to making a large investment that you won't necessarily be able to recover due to that shrinking market.
Right. Okay.
How do you solve the pricing impact? Because on mobile, you know that data is more expensive compared to at home. So how do you think to solve this gap for this segment?
We see it as an investment. So data is more expensive on mobile. However, it'll prove to be much more of a return on your investment. Because, as we said, you would be able to use it for location-based marketing, for tracking services, and you'd be almost able to even sell that specific data if you would like it. So it is an investment, but which would yield a huge return.
How do you think that the medical parts, so the medical apps, section of the apps, how do you think it will appeal to the younger demographics you're targeting versus, for example, the music apps or the video apps that our competitors are offering right now?
Currently, when I go out, for example, I always have to take my health card, my driver's license with me when I go out with my friends. And that's becoming more and more of an issue. Whereas if I just had something on my phone with all my information of my medical records, it'd be so much easier, as well as emergency situations as well. I feel like students or the younger demographic in general have an understanding that your cell phone can have all the information you need in it, and frankly, I get kind of annoyed when I have to carry around a bunch of pieces with me. Then I have my wallet, and then I have my phone, and then I have my keys. Kind of adds up, so having all of that into one would make a really huge difference for us.
Another point to add on to that is that this demographic are your future doctors. They're the ones who are going to be using this in the future. So by targeting them now and getting to them right now, you're making an investment that will yield a return in the future.
Thank you. One last one. You mentioned YouTube, Facebook. Do you see a role for LinkedIn in there? Because when you look at, if you go to the Content Marketing Institute, they rank, you probably have been on that site, and they rank LinkedIn as the #1, but actually that's for the B2B, right? But your social media seems to be mainly consumer oriented, and obviously this is a good consumer market, but do you want to pitch to the business type also?
Sure. So the reason why we chose Facebook and YouTube was because it's the most used social media by the demographic that we wanted to target in our strategy. So in the short term, in order to grow the app, in order to grow the strategy, we believe that targeting the consumer market is the most effective strategy. However, in the longer term, investing in LinkedIn is definitely something to look into, especially with the medical records developments being added. So we believe that LinkedIn is definitely a good strategy to keep in mind, but for the 6 months that we described, we thought that Facebook and YouTube would reach the most people in terms of the audience. However, we do agree that LinkedIn would be definitely something valid for the future.
Thank you. Merci.